We are on the record in the matter of the marriage of Crystal Marino and Gavin Marino. The case number is Butler County 21 DM 569. The DCF appears by and through Miss Hawks. Miss Marino appears in person and pro se. Mr. Marino also appears in person and pro se. We were last here on September 19th with the parties appearing as they do again today, save not certain Miss Marino was on that particular meeting. But at that time, Mr. Marino had indicated that he had been in hospital for approximately 2 months in the run up to that hearing and was scheduled to be released from treatment he was receiving for a spinal infection on September the 26th. The matter was continued to today's date for further review. Ms. Hawks, do you have any update or any particular prayer of the court at this time?
Your Honor, I do not have an update, just the same information that you had. So I guess I would just inquire of Mr. Marino if it looks like he's out of the hospital, if he's been working towards getting a job and when we can expect payments to start back up.
Yeah, actually, is it okay to speak?
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I actually just started working at a company on, Tuesday? The 4th was my first day here. I was working at Village Inn. I left them yesterday because I'm working here full time.
And where is here?
LTC.
And are you working there in a full-time capacity?
Yeah, full time.
Okay, it is LTC in Wichita? I'm not familiar with
Yeah,
the
Wichita,
company.
Kansas.
Okay. And what sort of work are you doing for them?
I paint parts for the military for all the armored vehicles.
Okay. And are you anticipating, and I know none of us has certainty of the next breath or heartbeat, let alone things that involve other people, but are you fairly certain that this will be a job that you'll be able to stay at for an extended period of time?
Yes. All my medical issues, everything is good. Everything came back clear. Everything's fine now.
Good. All right. Against that backdrop, Ms. Hawks, do you have any proposed way forward?
I guess just first, are you a W-2 employee there, Mr. Marino?
Yes.
Okay, and is that leading technology composites?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Your Honor, I would just say that we set this over. We'll get an income withholding order issued to Mr. Marino's employer. And if we can start getting regular payments, we can dismiss the contempt. If we're not getting regular payments, then we'll just keep coming back and see what we can do.
Ms. Moreno, did you have any thing that you wanted to advise the court of, or any prayer that you might have of the court at this time?
Are you talking to me?
No, I was talking to Miss Moreno.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I get insurance. So do you guys want me to add him to my insurance?
You're kind of cutting out. Start that thought again.
I was gonna say that I'm offered insurance here, and I was want to know, do I need to carry the insurance on my son?
It looks like, okay, say that again.
Do I need to carry the insurance on my son? I need it because I can put him on my insurance if that's part of it.
And I'm sorry, you were cutting out very badly there for a while. What did you say?
Your Honor, he's asking if he's got the option to put the child on insurance at his new job. So he's asking if he should be putting the child on insurance there.
Forgive me, Ms. Hawks. I think I'm having trouble hearing you now as well. I don't know if it's my side. Miss Jackie, are you able to hear Mr. Marino and Miss Hawks clearly, or is it something that might be broader than just my computer?
No, I'm able to hear everybody clearly. I will have somebody coming down to see if they can help you figure out if it's your computer or not.
Okay. It just seems to be freezing up a little bit, kind of in a staccato fashion. But in any event, Ms. Hawks, if you could please try one more time to explain what Mr. Marino is requesting, number one, and number two, what, if any, position DCF has on that. I'm gleaning it might have something to do with his child's insurance.
Yes, so at the new employer, he has the ability to put the child on his health insurance. So he's asking if he needs to do that.
Okay.
It would be the state's position that that's not necessarily before the court today. But if the parties wanted to request a modification review of the child support order, we could review it at that time.
Okay. And I think that does make sense. Obviously, that changes other dynamics. And certainly, if there's agreement as to how to go forward with that based on the coverage you offer through your or are offered through your employer, that might be something that the parties think is a good idea, and we could consider that at a later date. Ms. Hawks, did you have a date in mind as to when we should reconvene, given that you're trying to get an income withholding order in place?
Your Honor, I believe we could maybe go out to that January 16th. We may have time, maybe I don't know what works for the parties, if morning or afternoon works better, but we probably have time around like 10:30 or 11.
Right. If that works for everyone, we'll just set it for January 16, 2025 at 10:30 a.m. And hopefully the income withholding order will be in place. And if there's any further discussion the parties want to undertake concerning insurance, we could talk about it then. If it's the case that there's agreement that that should be something that the court would look at, you could notify DCF of your intention to make that change, and we could potentially take up the matter more broadly when we reconvene. All right. If there's nothing further, then we'll be in recess. Mr. Marino, you're excused. Ms. Marino, you're excused as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that Mr. Martindale?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Martindale appears in person and pro se. And who is with you, sir?
This is my wife, Brisa Martindale.
Okay. Thank you. It looks like we're here on a motion for default judgment for support. Ms. Hawks, if you can summarize the DCF position and prayer, I would appreciate it.
Your Honor, we have filed a petition to decide support for two kids, years of birth, 2019 and 2024. Father is presumed by marriage and is on the birth certificate. He was served personally on September 4th, has not filed an answer, and is in default. We did prepare a child support worksheet that shows a guideline amount of $1,189. However, it looks like Brisa is the custodial parent in this matter, so I guess I'm curious if the parties are still residing together.
We did move back in together, yes. We were living apart for 2 months and then kind of half and half for about 4 months. And then we did just recently move back into the same residence.
Are you expecting that to be a long-term
Yes,
situation?
yes.
Your Honor, unfortunately, I am having some internet issues, so I'm not able to log in and look at our economic eligibility system. But what I'm seeing in the system I do have is that they're not listed as in the home together at this time. So if they're not wanting to establish child support nor wanting to continue on as an intact household, then I would need to continue this out, and Ms. Martindale is going to need to contact the individual she contacted when she signed up for services and make sure that Mr. Martindale is listed as in the home. Once that's completed and his income is being taken into consideration for any services they're receiving, then we can dismiss the case.
So we're no longer receiving services.
Okay. And unfortunately, like I said, I have internet issues this morning, so I can't log in and check that. I'd be happy just to continue this out, and assuming we can get all of that confirmed later, I can do an order to dismiss once all of that's confirmed and in order.
Does that make sense to you, Tanner?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. I recognize that we're heading into some pretty busy times of the year, and it seems that both Ms. Hawks and myself have experienced at least some minor internet issues this morning, and I recognize that there are a few moving parts. With all of that said, Ms. Hawks, do you think we should use that same January date as a backstop, acknowledging that if everything is as it appears to be, you'll probably file a motion to dismiss much sooner than that? Or would you prefer to keep the case docketed for some time during this calendar year?
Your Honor, I'm fine pushing it off to that January 16th date. We could do a 1:30 on that date, and assuming everything's in order, yes, I'll just issue a dismissal once I can confirm all of that.
Does January 16, 2026 at 1:30 work on your calendar, Mr. Martindale and Brisa?
Yes, it does.
Okay. If we need to have a hearing, you can come in using the same meeting ID and passcodes that you used today. And if in the meantime you have received a certified order of dismissal, you can assume that that hearing is no longer going to take place. Okay. All right. Well, thank you both for coming in.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
We're here on a DCF motion seeking a default judgment for support. Ms. Hawks, if you can explain in a little fuller detail the nature of your position and prayer, I would appreciate it.
Thank you, Your Honor. So the state filed a petition for support on May 12th of 2025 for two kids, year of birth 2020 and 2022. In this case, Ms. Hutton is the biological mother, and Mr. Marspini is the presumed father by voluntary acknowledgement of paternity. Ms. Hutton was personally served on July 25th of 2025. She has failed to file an answer and is currently in default. DCF has filed a child support worksheet that shows a guideline amount of $408 a month. Calculating that, we imputed Ms. Hutton at $10 an hour full time. So DCF would request a child support order in the amount of $408 effective June 1st of 2025, with an income withholding order to issue in the amount of $408 for current and $50 for arrears. For Mr. Marspini to continue to provide health insurance and claim the children for taxes, and then what the court would like to do with court costs.
All right. Mr. Marspini, is there anything that you would like to add at this time, sir?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Well, I will do as has been asked and set support in the amount of $408 a month effective June 1, 2025. I will authorize an income withholding order issue in the amount of $408 per month. Current support plus $50 towards any arrearage amount. I will adopt the other proposed orders, and I will assess costs to Ms. Hutton in the case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you, too. This matter was last before the court on September 19th of this year, at which time Ms. Hawks appeared for DCF. I believe Ms. Phillips appeared at that time, and I think it was she who explained that perhaps the notice had been sent incorrectly to the wrong address for you. The matter was continued to today's date, and we do reconvene with all parties present. Ms. Hawks, can you summarize for the court the DCF position and prayer at this time?
Yes, Your Honor. So we filed a motion to modify child support on August 12th of 2025. The current order is $446 a month. It's my understanding when that order was created, that father was imputed at a wage and that he is now working. We prepared a child support worksheet. However, at that September hearing, the court granted father a 10% parenting time adjustment. So a new child support worksheet was prepared, filed, and sent out to the parties with that parenting time adjustment that shows a guideline amount now of $610. So DCF would be asking to modify child support to the amount of $610 a month effective September 1st.
Mr. Phillips, do you have any position with respect to that proposed modification?
Yeah, Crystal and I come up to with an agreement between ourselves that I'd pay 400. But the wages they have down are not even close to being correct either. So that's not an accurate summary of what I make.
Okay. Ms. Hawks, can you describe for the court where you had gotten the income information for Mr. Phillips?
Your Honor, it was Miss Phillips who reported, I believe, on her domestic relations affidavit that Mr. Phillips made $22 an hour.
Well, I
Okay.
make $20 an hour, and I've only brought home $28,000 this year. So
Do you have any W-2, 1099, other information that would explain that to the court?
no, sir, I've got a pay stub.
Okay. And is that for just this most recent month gone by?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. But you're saying you make $20 an hour rather than $22 an hour?
Yes, sir. And I don't always work 40 hours a week. My job is I do dirt work, construction. So if it rains, we don't work for 2 or 3 days. I average probably 32 hours a week.
Your Honor, I have no issue moving the income to $20 an hour. I did just check, and Ms. Phillips is receiving mandatory services, so unfortunately they are not allowed to negotiate their own child support amount, and we have a federal mandate that it has to go by the child support guidelines. So if the parties are in agreement, I can run a quick child support worksheet now doing the $20 an hour.
Yeah, if you would please do that, that would benefit the court.
Why are
we
we
can't-
not able to agree on a number?
So when you're receiving mandatory services from the state, you are required to work with Kansas Child Support Services. That is a federal requirement that comes from federal statute. And when that happens, we have a requirement that we have to prepare the child support worksheet based on the guidelines, Kansas Child Support guidelines, and any deviation from that has to be approved by the court. So, I mean, there is a little wiggle room. We can adjust Mr. Phillips's income, and then if the parties want to make any statements and the court feels it's necessary to give any other adjustments, that is possible. But as long as you're receiving services from the state, we have to do it by the guidelines.
Services from the state, you mean like daycare assistance?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what services you're receiving, and I can't state that online, but those are things like cash assistance, food assistance, childcare assistance, different types of services like that.
Okay, well, we can work together and get off the assistance and then agree to a number then, right?
Well, the court could consider making other orders prospectively, yes.
Okay. Stop. Please get down.
Daddy, look, it's Mom.
I apologize. It
sorry.
just takes a moment for my Bradley software to
Sure,
start up.
sure. No, please do take your time, and if it's going to take a moment and you want to go off camera and off mic even for a bit, we can sure do that as well.
I think it's coming up now. So if I put Mr. Phillips at $20 an hour, that would bring his, including the 10% adjustment for parenting time, that would bring his child support obligation to $560 a month.
There's no way I could afford that and still pay my bills. No way.
Ms. Hawks, if you were to at this stage, if his number is close to being accurate as far as something less than 40 hours a week, for example, if you were to put it in at 36 hours a week, what would that do to the worksheet?
Like I said, I haven't even made 30,000 this year. I've only brought home 25. So
Well, and unfortunately, the guidelines require us to go off of gross income, not net pay. If I put Mr. Phillips at $20 an hour at 36 hours a week, that, let me make sure tax. That brings it down to 501.
Well, I recognize that there are a lot of moving parts here. I know that there is the very real challenge that the take-home pay could be affected by a lot of things, but it's reality that that number, as indicated by the respondent, is a lesser number than one might have otherwise thought based on the per hour wages. Certainly, I recognize that the parties are co-parenting and trying to do right by one another and right by the child in question. And I do concede that there are a lot of those issues at play. But I'm at this point possessed of a data point that contemplates the $20 an hour that is indicated as the actual rate of pay. And I'll just give each party one more opportunity to speak before I make any decisions in the case. And I'll begin with you, Mr. Phillips.
I mean, I don't know what to say. I guess I've got to pay what you guys say I have to pay, but we came up with an agreement of $400 a month. So I can't even afford that. I've got to be able to buy food for my house too. Pay my rent.
Ms. Phillips, anything more you'd like to add, ma'am?
I do agree with Andrew. I still work 40 hours. I make my own income. I would like to find a way we can still get closer to the 400 amount.
Well, and I appreciate where you're coming from, and it's I think a beautiful thing that there's an effort to try to be considerate of the other party, but at this snapshot of time, from yes, ma'am.
So I'm sitting here watching the Zoom, and it looks like there may be a child sitting on Mr. Phillips' lap. He did not return the modification document, so it may be appropriate to see if there's any biological children under the age of 18 living in his home, because right now I've not applied a multifamily adjustment. And this is a modification increase, so he would be that would be allowed for in this situation.
Is that something you would like to do, Mr. Phillips?
Well, I've just got my two kids that are here half the time. That's it.
Okay.
So just the two kids in this case?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I guess I'll do one other thing, and I'm bouncing around more than I would like to have. And Ms. Hawks, I beg your indulgence, but could you run the number with 32 hours per week?
Your Honor, at 32 hours a week, that brings father's obligation down to $448 a month.
Well, I feel at that level, I have accepted at face value the $20 an hour rate of pay Mr. Phillips has indicated. And more than that, I'm accepting his average number of 32 hours per week. And I know the rain can be capricious, and there are opportunities, I'm sure, to work 40 hours a week. Some of those weeks, I don't know, perhaps even some additional opportunities. But I'm willing to set support today in the amount of $448 per month, effective September 1, 2025. I think I'm taking at that point all of the facts in the light most favorable to Mr. Phillips. And I will authorize an income withholding order issue in the amount of $448 per month for current support, and there'll be a slight arrearage balance. So I will apply an additional $20 a month until that arrearage balance is caught up. And if you could please prepare the journal entry along those lines, Ms. Hawks, I would be most grateful.
Yes, Your Honor.
And thank you, Mr. Phillips. Thank you, Ms. Phillips.
That'll
Thank you,
all be
sir.
taken care of automatically. You guys will get that set up, come out of my check.
Correct, yes.
When will that start?
It'll take a couple weeks for us to get the journal entry prepared and sent over to the court. Takes sometimes a couple weeks for Mr. Murphin, or I apologize, Mr. Murphin, Judge Murphin, to have the ability to review that and get it signed, sent back to us. Once that happens, we'll get everything updated in our system with Kansas Payment Center, and the income withholding order will get issued out to you. So I would say, or to your employer. So I would say somewhere between 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay, so I'm gonna fall farther behind while I'm waiting on it.
You can
Yes.
make, go ahead.
Yes, but that extra $20 will just chip away at that every single
Okay,
month.
I'm not gonna get in trouble for being behind then. I just worry about that, so.
Ms. Hawks, since the income withholding order has been authorized, is it your preference that he just wait until those monies are deducted rather than making direct payments in the interim?
I mean, I think direct payments probably would be a good idea. I can't guarantee any arrearage over $50 or $500. At some point, he becomes subject to things like federal debt set off and restriction for driver's license. Those things happen on a random kind of rotation, and so I can't guarantee. But anytime he has an arrears over $500, that's always a possibility.
So if you want to make payments directly to the Kansas Payment Center in the meantime, Mr. Phillips, you're definitely welcome to do that.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you both.
Thank you.
For the Department for Children and Families versus Jamie Meza. The case number is Butler County 25 DM 261. The DCF appears by and through Ms. Hawks. Is there another party on this call, on this case rather?
Your Honor, I believe the one labeled Benz is for the 10:30 hearing.
Okay, perfect. We're here on a motion for default judgment for support. Would you please, Ms. Hawks, explain in further detail your position and prayer?
Thank you, Your Honor. The state filed a petition for support on July 18th of 2025. In this case, the necessary third party, Judy Durham, is a non-parent third party, and the respondent is the biological mother. This is for one child, year of birth 2008. The respondent was served by residential service on August 23rd by leaving the service packet with the respondent's mother-in-law. The respondent has failed to file an answer and is in default. DCF prepared a child support worksheet that shows a guideline amount of $301. That was calculated by imputing the respondent at $10 an hour full-time. So at this time, DCF would request a child support order in the amount of $301 a month, effective August 1st of 2025, with an income withholding order to issue in the amount of $301 for current and $50 for arrears, for Ms. Durham to continue to provide health insurance for the child and claim the child on taxes, and then what the court would like to do with court costs.
I will adopt all of your proposed orders, the $301 a month effective August 1, 2025, an income withholding order of $301 plus $50 a month, the tax and insurance considerations as explained, and I will ascribe costs to Ms. Meza on this matter.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. We're here on a DCF motion for default judgment for support. Ms. Hawks, could you please outline your position and prayer?
Thank you, Your Honor. The state filed a petition for support on August 21st of 2025. for one child, year of birth 2020. There is a presumption, as Mr. Smith signed the voluntary acknowledgement of paternity. He was personally served on September 9th of 2025 and has failed to file an answer and is currently in default. We filed a child support worksheet that shows a guideline amount of $173 a month. Mr. Smith was imputed at $10 an hour full-time. So at this time, DCF would request a child support order in the amount of $173 a month. For that to be effective September 1st of 2025, with an income withholding order to issue in the amount of $173 current and $50 arrears, for Ms. Benz to continue to provide health insurance and claim the child for tax purposes, and then what the court would like to do with court costs.
Ms. Benz, is there anything you would like to say?
Yes. I'm just confused on how that works. When I filed, he didn't have a job, but as of now, he does have a job. He hasn't helped in the last year and a half, not even as so much as watching him on a consistent schedule. And that's just, I mean, I don't know. I don't completely agree with that amount of money.
Well, I think, and I know these things are complicated even for those of us who encounter it a little more often, but I think that what Ms. Hawks was explaining is she was using an imputed income number of $10 an hour, because I think when she ran that calculation, she did not know that the respondent, Mr. Smith, was indeed working. So the snapshot in time judgment I would be poised to make is in line with the facts as they were known when this was filed. However, if you would like to provide additional information such as you have it to DCF, they could make inquiry into whether Mr. Smith is indeed working, and if so, at what rate of pay and how many hours. And the alternative, if the court were to make these orders today, under various circumstances, the court could revisit the issue of what the appropriate support amount is. But I understand where you're coming from, and I can sense the frustration that would be understandable given what you're explaining about your perspective of not having had any help or consistent help, at least over a pretty long arc of time. But I have certain information before the court now. If you think there is additional relevant information you could provide or you wish the DCF to look into, we can sure set this over to do that.
Yeah, I would like that. I don't know how to go about that though. Do I just get a hold of DCF?
Well, do you know where he's working, for example? Okay.
Yeah.
Ms. Hawks, is the easiest way for her to update DCF to email you at the address that's on the pleading she's received?
I mean, she can do that, or she can also call the toll-free number and talk to them and give them as much information as possible too. If she knows the employer, she can go ahead and give that to me now, and I can try and get an employer verification letter sent out right away, and then she can still call or email with any additional information.
It's Mears Fertilizer Company in El Dorado, Kansas.
Your Honor, we can get an employer verification letter sent out to that company, see if we can get an answer back with a wage amount. I would just encourage Ms. Benz to either send an email or call that toll-free number with any additional information she might have. And then I would suggest setting this on January 16th at maybe 1:30. That gives us time to get that employer verification letter back. Assuming we get one, run an updated child support worksheet and get that out to the parties.
Does that date and time work for you, Ms. Benz? January 16 at 1:30? You can come in as you had done today by Zoom with the same meeting ID and passcode.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay.
So child support won't be set today, or will it?
Correct. I'm going to wait until we get the fuller information that was of concern to you, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good afternoon or good morning. We are on the record in state of Kansas on behalf of the Secretary for the Department for Children and Families et al. versus Douglas McGathy. Case number is Greenwood County 15 DM 025. The DCF appears by and through Ms. Hawks. Mr. McGathy appears in person and pro se. There are no other appearances at this time. This comes on a DCF motion seeking modification of support. Ms. Hawks, if you could please outline your position and prayer.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state filed a motion to modify child support on October 22nd of 2025. The current order is $409 a month. And that was effective in 2016. This modification was started because Mr. McGathy is incarcerated. So we have prepared a new child support worksheet that shows the guideline amount of $0 after the ability to pay calculator. So at this time, the state would be asking to modify it to $0 a month.
And when would you like that to be effective?
November 1st, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. McGathy, anything you'd like to say with respect to that proposed order, sir?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, in the circumstances and in line with the worksheet, I will modify the child support to $0 a month effective November 1, 2025, and pending any further potential modifications going forward. Thank you,
Your
Mr.
Honor.
McGathy. Yes, ma'am.
I apologize. The state would request that an income withholding order issue. I don't know if Mr. McGathy has the ability to work at all. But generally we would request like maybe $2 a month to pay on arrears. That way we're just slowly working on those arrears.
Mr. McGathy, are you currently in a situation where you are able to work and would be in a position to pay $2 a month towards those arrearage balances?
Yeah, I can pay that.
All right. Well, that will be the order of the court then, and I appreciate your coming in. Thank you, and whomever is assisting you, thank you for making Mr. McGathy available.
Thank you.
Thank
The next case I have is State of Kansas on behalf of the Secretary for the Department for Children and Families et al. Versus Derek Hoyt. The case number is Butler County 2023 DM 300021. The DCF appears by and through Ms. Hawks. I don't believe Mr. Hoyt appears. However, Megan Knott appears in person and pro se. It looks like we were last here back in August. Strike that. I think we were here actually in October. I think that Mr. Hoyt appeared to be seeking to come into the meeting multiple times, but was never able to make a connection. I do have a note to my file that Miss Monica, who was running the meeting that day, messaged Mr. Hoyt with today's date and time and received an acknowledgement from him that he knew of this new date and time. Ms. Hawks, in the circumstances, how would you like to go forward today?
Your Honor, the state filed a contempt. Mr. Hoyt was served personally on July 17th. We have had two hearings in this matter. At the first hearing, the court ordered Mr. Hoyt to apply for at least 10 jobs a week and send that proof to DCF. DCF has not received any proof of job applications. He was at the last hearing, but unable to, like you said, connect or speak. But I believe he was more than aware of the hearing today, as well as we filed an order of continuance that was mailed to his last known address. So at this time, the state would request a bench warrant in the amount of $500 a month.
All right. I will authorize a bench warrant issue. I will fix bond in the amount of $500 cash, and hopefully we'll be able to reconvene the case sometime soon. Ms. Knott, was there anything that you wanted to add, ma'am? I think you might still be muted. I'm the worst person with technology, so it's preposterous that I should be making a technological. There, you were unmuted for a second, and now you're muted again. There you go.
I got it. I don't have anything at this time. I did send a letter in to the state's attorney there back in, can't remember. It was after the August court date. Just kind of on my behalf.
Oh,
And my
are
son,
you in receipt of that correspondence, Ms. Hawks?
Yes, Your Honor, we did receive a letter.
Okay, good. So I think that your letter has indeed been received, and certainly to the extent you wish to speak to any concerns you raised in that letter when we reconvene, you're absolutely welcome to do that. I think for purposes of today, I don't want to fail to hear something that you might think is important, but at this point, with his non-appearance and the issuance of the warrant, we'll definitely be reconvening for another hearing at a later point after the warrant is served. If there's
Okay.
nothing further, then thank you, Ms. Knott. And if there's nothing further, we can be in recess. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.